just said on live, he said he was cheating before he got shot in the head, and he was cheating after he got shot in the head. You can't force a man to change. That man got shot in the head. Everybody left him except her.
In April 2020, Jamal Collins' life changed forever when he was shot in the head.
Yo, what's up? Motherfucker parked up, all that, huh?
The incident resulted in a traumatic brain injury. Doctors were uncertain about his recovery, but by his side stood Lynn, his devoted baby mother. Lynn became Jamal's primary caregiver, helping him relearn basic tasks and navigate the challenges of his new reality.
That is true. That is true. Like, you can't really change anybody. Like, if you do all the right things for or with somebody that's right in your head, and you feel like this is what you would want in their shoes, or if like you feel like that's just what you should do for someone, on one hand, yes, your expectations can be met with reciprocity. However, people will have like different definitions of like, people have different expectations and like different ideas of, you know, what's right and wrong. So you feel like you're doing the most for somebody, and it's like low-key, anything that you do for someone, they can always end up doing for themselves, whether they want to, or it's harder, or it's just like really damn near impossible. At the end of the day, that is a fact. Anything that you do for somebody, they can really technically do for themselves if they are willing. Like, even in like relationships, you can like validate somebody all the time, but they could be able to do that for themselves. Or you can buy something for someone all the time, or pay their bills and stuff, but technically anybody could do that for themselves if they just, you know, do what they have to do.
Not only was she taking care of him, but their son as well.
I wanna know the hype.
What?
Why would you do that?
Huh?
As Jamal's condition improved, the couple continued to share their lives online, gaining a significant following. Their story was one of hope, showing that love could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. This journey wasn't easy, but Lynn was determined to help Jamal recover. While doctors warned he might be paralyzed, Lynn refused to accept that as his fate. Every day, Lynn helped him out of bed and guided him through speech exercises, because at one point, Jamal couldn't speak, walk, or do anything on his own. But everything changed thanks to Lynn's dedication.
So okay, my 2 cents on this. I think it's admirable and expected. Not expected, like, that's what is acceptable. If you, or like your partner gets hurt, you or one of y'all pick up the little extra weight. Or if somebody is financially kind of challenged, or maybe they're physically a little disabled, or maybe like there's something going on, and you know, somebody wants to pick up the extra weight, or like fill in the gaps, or like, I don't know, maybe for some people it's filling a void or whatever. So that's good that like she would want to take care of him after being injured like that. Like, that's what would be expected of her as his partner, or like as his friend even, or somebody that cares about him. You don't even have to be like, you don't even have to be that deep with someone to care about them or want to help them. Sometimes it be people that you don't know that help you more than people you know. Anyway, yeah, even if it was her that was like that, I would expect that of him to be more nurturing as well. So like that's good that they're doing that, they're able to do that. I just wanted to say that first before I say what I was gonna say later on, because I don't want to sound like men don't deserve shit and then women don't deserve shit. I don't want it to sound like that, and I don't want it to sound like it's impossible to find a good relationship in today's society, or society as a whole. I think there's like a general guideline for people, which is like society, and so you don't gotta like, you don't have to button your shirt up all the way to be a good citizen per se.
Yeah, oh damn, oh damn, oh yeah.
So he has officially completed phase A of his rehabilitation to getting better.
As the years went by, Jamal slowly got his confidence back. His progress was incredible, and soon, he and Lynn became a fan-favorite couple on TikTok. Their love story and healing journey helped them gain over 900,000 followers and build a massive presence online.
Oh, cheating ass, toxic ass, good dick motherfucker. Hate your ass. With my man today, back outside tomorrow. Yeah. I be done with him today, then be at his house tomorrow. I be busting out the windows, got him switching up his car.
But with fame comes drama, and the internet, as usual, had something to say. Rumors started swirling around Lynn, questioning her motives. People asked, is she only staying for the money? Does she really love him? Or is she using him for clout?
I was gonna say, just really shortly or briefly, those little dynamics in relationships that are like a little feisty or like a little like playful, where you know it's like generally a joke, where it's like, I don't have to spend a penny or move a muscle and he handles everything. Like, hopefully that's not literal, you know, or like her intention, that shouldn't be, or like the goal, because some people are sensitive about even stuff like that. Like sometimes dudes are sensitive about having maybe their own stuff, and it's like maybe they grew up not being able to do that, or like they feel like they always gotta provide or give, and it's not like they don't probably want to, but it's just maybe like, you know, there's always somebody that takes advantage of another in some form or fashion. So whether that's like a man or a woman, or like, let's say if a guy is like playful, like, oh, she better not be texting anybody else, like just stuff like that. It's like you could tell when it's playful versus like literal or like scary.
Now, Jamal, do I spend your disability check?
Let's clear it up. Does she get a disability check for you?
No.
Thank you. Now, for the people who want to know what I do, I went to school to be an esthetician, so I do lashes, I do facials. I have my own job doing payroll, so I don't sit here and need Jamal for nothing. Now, all y'all projecting on me because of how you feel about your baby daddy, and y'all want him to be Charles and wouldn't want to be here, and I wouldn't take care of him, and the men knowing that your baby mama's not going to take care of you, I don't know what to tell you.
Also, a side note, because I'm kind of I guess I would say I fall a little bit into this from time to time, but there's like so much masculinity in society right now. Like, it's to the point where everybody wants to protect themselves. Most people are out for themselves, for real, and that's due to just like trauma and like, you know, as time goes by, things are carried on, like traditions and like mindsets and stuff. So I guess it's normal to kind of just get your money and keep it pushing. Like, don't be attached to anyone, or don't love anything, and kind of treat everything like a fucking garden that's getting bulldozed, like F everything, because it's safer that way, or to feel nothing. So, okay, that's usually like a sign of hurt, whether they're good at concealing it more or not. So I was just gonna say I kind of miss the days where it felt like, you know, men wouldn't take advantage of like women, or on a spiritual level outside of like physicality. Like femininity just wasn't like crushed, like an inner knowing that gets dimmed by what people could see physically a lot. And like physicality matters a lot to people, and like things that we already seen or already know, that's considered life. And then really that's kind of death, really, because anything that you kind of comfortable with or already seen before, you're just recycling.
I'm basically saying life is creation, and creation comes from like within.
Oh, yeah, I feel like there was never really a perfect day or like a time where everything was great. So there's no such thing as like going back to anything, because that's not really progressive. There's like this diagram that's like a spiral staircase, and you may feel like you're going backwards sometimes, or like you may feel like it looks like everything's kind of falling apart, but you're actually elevating from a like higher perspective. So I feel like if we all as a whole, like, and especially like, I don't want to be rude, because even I struggle with this, like needing like people, or like trying to unlearn like this super like independent mindset just to protect my feelings, or just protect myself from like, let's say, the wrong men or the wrong types of women, because like a lot of times women could be over masculine, and like they try to protect themselves too, because a lot of times men aren't around. So it's like, hey, sometimes you gotta kind of do what you gotta do, or feel how you feel, or like come off how you come off, or like, you know.
And my mom used to tell me we only get one body, or like one body part. Like, so obviously we have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears. I'm saying you only get really one body. So you gotta take care of it, or at least try to protect, yourself. But protecting your feelings sometimes can often, if you do that too much, hurt yourself or hurt your physical body, because you might be doing just anything to protect your feelings. Or if you're trying to protect your body too much from just anything crazy, you might be hurting yourself mentally, like driving yourself insane, because you just don't want the wrong individual to take advantage of you or hurt you. So if you've experienced either or both of those things, cough, cough, relax. But it's easier said than done. Don't feel like you're a weirdo because you can't relax in 0.5 seconds.
In order to not be hurt, or like in order to be taken seriously, or be even heard, or anything. Like, if you're a girly girl, for the most part, which is usually like the ideal femininity, right? Or an example of what would be considered super feminine, you're not going to be taken seriously. Nobody's going to really want to listen to you. You're not strong. You're not doing shit. You're just a girl, and shut up and do this, right? And then if you're acting like a man, or like you're trying to be strong physically or like mentally, and then you try to handle things on your own, or even half of things on your own, you're like being a man, or like nobody, you don't need nobody, so nobody tries to help you. And then like you're considered unattractive, or any type of whatever, just to kind of like, get you to feel like you need someone, because maybe, whatever. Anyway, it's really all a choice at the end of the day, what you do with your life, or how you think, or how you feel, or how you let other people make you feel. For real. And you could just be whoever you want to be. But if you kind of grow up under the guise of like being something or leaning towards something you really would rather not, like if you were forced to be more of like a masculine woman because you just didn't have that sort of like protection in your face in your life, or if you were forced to be more of like a sensitive kind of meek guy because you were just surrounded by a lot of like overbearing or like super like tough or toxic women, or like any of that, you're gonna feel like WTF. And then sometimes people could just do things because they want to, like not because they're expecting anything in return. Like for example, I like to clean up. Like, it's therapeutic for me, right? So like sometimes I'll try to clean up after other people to be nice. And I think that's like usually sometimes translating as something else. Or like sometimes I just, I peep that a lot of guys do things for women with the intent of getting something sexual in return. I mean, there's a Kanye lyric like that. If you take a girl out, do you expect sex? Like, does it have to always be like that? And that just be so mind-blowing to me. Like, it's good to want what you want, but like, if you only do things for something in return, and that's your way of life, like it's mad transactional, and you come at somebody like that and then want them to be nurturing and sweet and like just do things for you because they want to. Anyway, yeah, it's really possible to find people that do things without expecting something in return, and that's not always a red flag. Mind you, that other shit is not a red flag either. Sometimes people just move like that, and that's just like, it's okay. But not everything has like a double meaning for real, even though my channel kind of like digs into stuff a lot. I know that as a regular person still.
The accusations got out of hand, some even going as far as claiming she slept with Jamal's brother. A complete lie. Despite everything Lynn had done, she was dragged through the mud. And the truth is, if it weren't for Lynn and her mother, Jamal wouldn't have progressed the way he did. His entire story would have went unknown if she hadn't been the one documenting his recovery.
Yeah, and you can't assume that just because you want something or you would do something a certain way or you see something a certain way that somebody else or everybody else thinks that way. Like, sometimes, you have to, like I said, leave room for like another perspective or like another outcome. And just because somebody's attractive doesn't mean that they're just all the time. Like, that's just like, honestly, that's hard for me to like believe too about like dudes, because I have my own trauma around that. Like, just like feeling like, oh, if they shoot their shot or they throw a lot of themselves, I just be feeling like automatically like there's no way you're just not like a whore. And then I run into like dudes that just like be like, are you a whore? And I'll be like, nah, you just thought I was a hoe because you think about this or that all the time. And I just be like,
we do appreciate y'all getting him and taking the time to keep him with y'all and do for him. But at the same time, y'all are mistreating him by keeping him away from his family. That's all we are saying. We have never did anything to harm Jamal, no more than what y'all are doing.
but you're allowed to like what you like and be who you want to be. If you want to be like a more strong, independent person, you can do that, whether you're a man or woman. And then if you want to be a more soft individual or like taken care of, you can do that for whoever you want to be that way for. What else was I gonna say?
I was gonna say this section kind of sounds toxic a little bit. Like, whenever family, or not so much family, because I really think sometimes some people in your life, all they know or all they're comfortable with is the life they've always lived, or like the settings they've always had, or like the setting they've been in. So like the people they've always been around, or like et cetera, et cetera. So like that's kind of given sometimes. However, Jamal and or anybody else that kind of shows signs of individuality is an individual at the end of the day, and they have free will and they can make their own choices and do what they really please, what they feel is necessary for their highest good. So if he feels like, okay, I just want to be with who he wants to be with, that's fine. Like, he can choose that for himself. And if you, as his family, feel like whatever he could get over there, he could get with you, you might as well let him choose what he would rather do, because it's telling the type of control you're trying to have over him, and you're trying to make him feel like he needs you more than anybody else, or y'all are his last stop. And that's not really cool or fair to do to anybody, let alone a grown man. And honestly, I've had something like this happen to me before, where you just kind of feel like family or people or someone in particular just wants you to feel like they're all you have at the end of the day, which is true for a lot of people. Their family is all they have at the end of the day. But you can create your family, and you can like make a family for yourself that feels like family and isn't just family on paper. Like, people that actually listen to you and understand you and want to hear you out and want to make sure that you feel as good as everybody else is looking and feeling. Even if you had or have good intentions for someone and you want to give them things that you probably have wanted, or in their case, like they want to love on their family member or just keep him around, and he's probably just choosing to kind of be with his girl. Yeah, you can't like expect some things to last forever. Whether it's a relationship, friendship, or just honestly, you shouldn't take people's absence or time that they spend away or with quote unquote someone else personally, unless it's like some effed up ish. And frankly, they seem more concerned with where he's at and what woman he wants to be around versus his healing. And they want to feel like they've done more for him or done enough for him to feel content, which, like I said in the beginning of this video, has nothing to do with, I guess, the personal connection. It's just a wrap at that point. And to me, explains why
Y'all know that Jamal has
where he's at.
Because anybody who knows me, anybody who knows my family, anybody who knows Jamal would be well taken care of with his family, G. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all Minnesota motherfuckers. This is to her viewers. This is to the motherfuckers who don't know. Like, come on now. We're gonna talk about the motherfuckers who don't know, because y'all built a platform for motherfuckers. You only did this for the money. Now you on here talking about, oh, love is tired. How the you tired if you doing it for love? If a motherfucker say for love, how you tired?
Okay. yeah, she's allowed to be tired. Let me keep that short. Or try to. She's allowed to be tired as his caregiver, like just like parents that take care of their kids, they're allowed to be tired. You know, that doesn't mean they don't love them. Like, you can be tired and still love someone. I mean, I get where she was coming from, because in her eyes, it's like, what do you mean you're tired if you signed up for that job, right? Or she's saying, what do you mean you're tired? That's like, so he gonna choose to be around someone that's tired instead of being with us where he's always been. And that's just like she's talking out of hurt. You know. But yeah, two things can be true once, okay? That's just a thing. So for their case, I'm noticing there's a lot of couples like them where it's like someone is kind of like disabled, or like they have some form of disability, or like something that somebody kind of has to help them with on a day-to-day basis. In another case where somebody's just effing rich, okay, and like there's the other partner, and it's like everyone's assuming, because we've seen the types of movies and real life experiences where people are just really dead ass using people for their money, or like they know someone has money, so they would try to get with them or be with them only because of that, because they might get a portion and they might be able to flip their portion, and they might be able to grow off of somebody else's like foundation or stump, and not even with the intention of like being with them or helping them. It would just be to like hop on them and hop off like a fucking lily pad. So it's, first of all, because I'm not trying to put gender on none of it, because anybody can be taken advantage of, and then you can meet somebody with the same trauma as you on the flip side. So I'd be giving like bumper cars for real. But you don't want to assume the worst about everyone or anybody just because they might maybe like look like someone that hurt you before, or they kind of like showing you signs, or like you're not zooming out sometimes. You're kind of looking at it like they are like the exact person that hurt you, or like they think exactly like your worst nightmare, or like you can't really say that someone is something until you have really been proven time and time again, like an absurd amount of times, that this person is this way, or they do this, or etc., etc. There's no like stamp that says you know something 100%, because scientists are always doing new experiments on fucking Earth about every effing thing. So we actually don't know anything, really. We just know what we can measure. So that's just a huge, like, zoomed out perspective. But like, back to Earth, right? You just don't know sometimes, like, what people's intentions are until they kind of do the thing that you might be scared of. So really, it's good to at least, and this is so easier said than done, but it's good to at least like give people a chance and like ample room to make mistakes if you want to connect with people or someone, because you can't just expect somebody to be perfect because you getting your stuff together or you have your stuff together. You can't assume that someone that you like or want to connect with is on the same shit you're on. Like, if you've been working on your like emotional health for a long time and you like somebody that's kind of in the middle of like dealing with something emotional AF, you can't assume, oh, well, they're just not my person because they are crying a lot or like upset a lot. They're not always gonna really be like that. But then on the flip side, you don't want to always try to look for the potential in someone either, because then you would be wasting your time, and you would be kind of like going off of a pipe dream. But like, you have to find a balance with shit, because you can't just look at someone or something or some people and say, oh, I know what this is. Like, and you really feel like there's no room for like some change or like to be wrong, to be honest. Like, which is why I like to say that a lot of what I say is just an opinion, or like it's just how I feel, or like what I'm seeing, because it's not a fact, you know. Nothing can be that written in stone. You can't just assume that girls only want dudes for their money, you know, or just use somebody's shortcomings against them, or like hold stuff like that over their head when you know that life kind of makes it hard for women to even make or have money, period, without some sort of like I said, masculinity in their life, whether it's them or some other, like some man in their life, right? Like, you're not really heard or taken seriously that much otherwise. And then there's some other bull that could come with that. And then you can't assume that all dudes are just like sex addicts or like just trying to like jump on somebody for clout. Now that is a thing. Like, there's people like that. There's women that suck and there's men that suck. But then you gotta think about why they would be like that. Like, you can't make excuses, but it's better to forgive people from your past so that you could see clearly people, like see people clearly, and then see and accept and then move on, or like move forward with your perspective on the world. Like, it's tricky.
Jamal admitted he had cheated on Lynn, both before and after his brain injury.
So let's get some tea out. Before your relationship, right? Who was the cheater in y'all's relationship? We couldn't hear that. We couldn't hear that.
Alright, this is not funny per se, but it's just giving she's behind the camera like.
Was it you or her? Are you sure?
She's sitting behind the camera like.
I'm asking you, are you sure?
Who's funnier?
Are you sure it was you?
I mean, who's the cheater?
I'm asking you. I didn't really mess with you too much with it back
in the relationship. Who? He's talking about.
Look at his smile.
Yeah. It's easy to believe what we want to believe about people. Like, subconsciously, we have our own ideas of people that we either admire or think we would like, or people that we think we don't like, or people that we don't like, or people that we are more afraid of, or just don't understand all that well because we just haven't been around them or been around people like them. So people just have their own preconceived notions about people, and some people are punished or live a life based off of somebody else's preconceived notion of them, or like you let, you know, certain things define them that are just mostly negative, when that shouldn't be really the case, or that's not really fair to really genuinely define someone under and mean that at the core, like not just when you're upset or when you experience A, B, and C, you just feel a way and you feel like that's what someone or something is. But yeah,
That thumbnail and that title was so dramatic. It was really hold on. I don't know why when I laid down I started laughing because my back just got stretched. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that thumbnail and that title was like so exaggerated, and like obviously that's YouTube. That's just like, if you don't know, please always remember that thumbnails and titles are exaggerated. Just right quick. Anyway. I was gonna say something piggybacking off of the quotes in the thumbnail. That's supposed to be something that he said, or something of the likes, what he said, or meant, or whatever, right? So it was saying, I'm healthy, I don't need you anymore. So, you know, a lot of people in the dating scene, or really in general, whether they're trying to make friends as well or not, they have a fear of like abandonment, or like people just kind of deal with something similar. So I feel like men and women like tend to nowadays give the least, because who wants to put all their eggs in one basket, or like kind of have a bad perception of someone and it turn out to be wrong, or a good perception of someone and it turn out to be wrong, or just feel that way, like for real life, feel like you put your all or put a lot of effort into something and it just ends up being like, you know, not what you desired, or like not giving the outcome you wanted. You're gonna feel like you don't want to put effort again. However, and this goes for me too, but just anybody that struggles with trust, or like stuff like that right now, or not even right now, anybody that struggles with something of the sorts, such as trust, I don't know, somebody taught me before that like literally the only way you can really like start trusting people is to just do it, and then like that's true, like the only way to really get something done is to do it, or like the only thing you could do is like move forward, for real. From a bad experience, like you can't kind of like have glasses on that have you seeing everybody like maybe a monster, or like every girl is a monster, every guy is a monster. You kind of want to really be able to look at people as an individual, like at the end of the day. Yeah. Now there's sorts of people, there's types of people, there's things that you could do that put you in a box, or like can have you aligned with, honestly, sometimes people that are like way further in what you're trying to do, or like way more similar than you think. But